Hi, my name is Kelson Alexander and I'm Chief Principal at Remore Strategies. I'm here to talk to you about Trade Secret. So there's 80 different strategy cards in this game, another 31 events, and these have like business and economics concepts, whereas the strategies are all about culture, change, working in an organization. For example, we've all probably heard of something like SMART goals, or something that might be a little more theoretical is like expectancy theory, or something you've heard of, but like maybe you want to know how it influences an organization, you might want to read more about power and influence. So those are just a few examples of what the strategies are in this game. You don't need any experience before you start playing this first round. So you play as the CEO of a recent startup, a visionary and strategic guru, and your industry is complex and changing. So this is just setting the stage. Like, let's immerse ourselves in this little world. So just last year, the biggest player in the industry unexpectedly collapsed, and now the race is on to become the industry leader and best place to work. The first order of business is to gain awareness about your organization, and awareness is categorized into 5 types. So I'm going to grab a couple of blocks here. These are called awareness blocks, and this is sort of an important mechanic or like part of the game. So one of the pieces we have, red is going to stand for management, green for environment, blue for communication, yellow for innovation, and purple for culture. And these 5 awareness types are going to determine what kinds of strategies your organization can implement and what benefits you get from implementing those strategies as we go along. So the objective of the game is to implement the highest level strategies. So again, I'll just show you a couple of strategies here. So for example, this is a level 3 strategy. You can see that it's got the blue background. There's some events in here. Job design is a level 4, early adopter is a level 2, and then visualize the desired future state is a level 5. So you'll notice that everything, all the strategies besides level 5s have a blue background, and then the level 5s have yellow. So it's important to remember highest level strategies are level 5s, and the game ends when the first organization implements their 3rd level 5 strategy. After that, you're going to sum up the points of all the strategies you have implemented, and the organization with the most points at the end wins. So for example, a level 5 is worth 5 points, a level 2 is worth 2 points. So if you had implemented these 2, you would have 7 points at the end of the game, or like victory points. Whereas if you had implemented, say, these 3, you would have 9 victory points at the end of the game because you have implemented 3 different strategies. All right. So I'm just going to stack those back here. I've shuffled this deck. I've separated out the cards with the blue background. These are all our level 1 strategies, and this is going to just help us get started as we go. Every organization should receive a SWOT mat, or strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats matrix, as well as 5 implementation markers and a pawn, all of one color. So I'm playing as blue over here, and I've set up a 3-player game with yellow and purple. Take 6 level 1 strategies, shuffle them, place them face up on the table in a random order. So the level 1 strategies are these with a blue background. We're going to take seed funding, which is just the card to help us get going. I'm going to shuffle the level 1s, and then I'm going to place them on the table in a random order. These are going to be the first 5 strategies on the market. These are strategies that any organization can implement. What's going to happen with the market is that it's going to cycle through, and you're only going to be able to implement things from the market for a couple of turns before new strategies show up. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do, just to help get us set up, is we're going to deal out some cards because we want each organization to have a level 5 strategy to start the game. So I'm going to sort these into 3 piles. I've got non-level 5s, 5s, and then any events if we pick them up. We're just going to go over there, and I'm looking for as many level 5s as there are organizations, or there's an event, and then there's our last level 5. So I can put the rest of these cards just back on top of the deck. We'll discard any events we drew. There's plenty in the deck. So those will just be fun little like changes to the game. We can shuffle all of the non-5s back together and place them on top of the deck. and then we will shuffle the 5s real quick and then deal them out. I'm just going to deal them out this time. So we're going to give yellow job rotation, we're going to give purple cultural transformation, and I'll take the innovation competitions. So this is your first trade secret. What's special about the trade secret is that throughout the game, you can implement your trade secret, but nobody else can. This is a strategy that's specific just to you. So we'll hold on to that for a minute, and then when you can implement it, you can. You always keep onto it, nobody else can implement it. So as we're getting started, we were looking at the SWOT map just before. You'll notice that there's a round order that goes from left to right at the bottom here. There's 8 phases in each round, and we're just going to keep playing through round after round, and you're always going to play every phase in the round. The phase icons correspond to what's on the strategy cards, so you'll notice that the profit phase, you'll receive whatever's on the strategy for profit, gain for gain, play for play. There's no repositions on this card, and then we've got an implementation discount here. I'll talk more about that in just a second. So let's just start. We also need to know who goes first. So we're going to take this little bold piece, and whoever has the lowest number in the bottom right corner on their strategy, they can go first. So for example, I've got 53, yellow has 63, and purple has 64. So 53 is lowest, I'll go first. I'll take the bow and I'll just place it on the SWOT map so I can keep track of what phase we're in every round, and I'll just lead those changes. When we get to the bowl phase, I'll talk a little bit more about sort of why that matters, because we can mostly just play simultaneously in this game. Okay, so for the first round, we're in the support phase. Normally what would happen is you would take your CEO pawn and support a strategy that you've implemented, but because nobody has implemented anything for the first round, we've got seed funding to get us going. So I'll support seed funding, so will yellow, and so will purple. And you can just place your pawn right on the strategy card for that. So that's it for support. In the future, we'll support something that we've implemented. We'll move the March the Bull one forward into the profit phase. So for whatever strategy you're supporting, you will get the profits. Seed funding has a profit of 40, so everybody will get $40,000. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 4. So that just gets us going. That's it for the profit phase. Every profit phase you'll receive money. Next we'll move to the gain awareness phase. In the gain awareness phase, I'll show you this card again. You get the number listed and then gain awareness symbol. And for that, everybody's going to get 3 for the first round here. So this is really the only decision you have to make in the first round, and it's going to correspond to which strategy you want to implement. So, for example, let's take cultural immersion here. In order to implement this strategy, there's really 3 requirements. One, you have to match the awareness in the SWOT map that's showing here with yours. So I need to place 1 purple block in the strengths box on my SWOT map, or a culture block. And I need to be able to pay $10,000, and then there needs to be this available capacity circle at the bottom, and we'll get to that in just a second. So let's say I want to implement cultural immersion, and I can get 3 awareness blocks in the gain phase. So I'm going to gain 3 purples. I'll place them just off to the side. This is my own little personal supply of gained awareness, where don't put them directly on your map. That's going to happen in the next phase. You'll be able to play awareness to your map. So that's an important part, just keep them separate here. Let's say yellow wants to go for blue. Maybe they really want to the communication here will give you more plays. So maybe they want to be able to play a lot of blocks to their SWOT map. So they're going to go for advertise new programs here, and they need to be able to play communication or blue block to weaknesses. So we're going to go ahead and give yellow 3 communication blocks. And for similar reasons, let's say purple wanted yellow blocks, because when we get to the reposition phase, that would let them move blocks around on their SWOT map. And let's say they really want to go for this one, and they want that ability. So they've taken innovation blocks, and they're going to put 1 yellow on weaknesses in their SWOT map in the next round. So that's it for the gain awareness phase. Again, you get whatever number is listed in the gain awareness symbol and all of one type, and you don't place them directly on your SWOT mat. You just put them in your own little personal gained awareness supply. So that's it for the gained awareness phase. We'll move on to play awareness. And again, we're just going to repeat these every round, and it goes the first round takes a little bit of explaining, but then it goes really quickly after that. All right, so again, I'll go first. I'll take one of these purple blocks. I need to line up with cultural immersion. It requires awareness of a cultural strength, so I will place a block there. Similarly, yellow wants to go for advertise new programs, so we'll take a blue communication block and place it in weaknesses, and purple will place an innovation and weaknesses as well. So that's it for play. We all just got one play because that was what was on seed funding. You also notice that as we move to the next phase, this is the reposition phase. There's 2 dots here. That means we get nothing. So nobody can reposition or move a block around on their SWOT mat for this phase. But in future rounds, especially purple over here, since they're going for a card that will have a reposition benefit, new strategies will come up on the market, and let's say they could move from a level 1 to a level 2 strategy, but they need this block to move to their strengths box instead of be in the weaknesses box. So reposition would let them move that block from one box to another. So that can be really powerful. We'll go to the implementation phase next. So in this phase, you can buy and sell strategies. Let's just talk about buying strategies right now, or implementing them, if you will. And I'm going to go first because I've got the bull, and what we've got here is I'm going for cultural immersion. I've got a purple awareness block in strengths that meets the required awareness on this card. Again, you can see that there. I need to pay $10,000, and there needs to be an available capacity circle. So there's 3 capacity circles at the bottom. And how you mark that you've implemented something is you take it off the market, take a implementation marker, and can cover up one of those circles. All right, so that's it. I gotta also pay $10,000 back to the bank. Okay, so let's do the same for yellow over here. They're gonna pay $10,000, and they have the required awareness to implement advertise new programs. And so these are all on seed funding right now. They've implemented advertise new programs, and purple over here is going to implement make change easy. So we're just moving these from the market to the middle of the board. Okay, so that's it for the implementation phase. When you're selling strategies, you get $5,000 times whatever the level is. You can do that before you implement. So let's move to the market phase. Normally we'd get rid of the oldest card on the market, but for the first round only, we're going to get rid of seed funding. That one's just out there for the first round. It just helps us get going. We're going to then slide cards down to the market until they've filled all the spots, and then we'll add new cards to the market until we have 5 again. So we got 3 new strategies, and those are now available. So for example, purple has a lot of yellow blocks. They have the repositions. They might be able to get on something like relearn how to learn in this next round already, so they can move from only level 1s to level 2s. So that reposition is already going to prove pretty powerful. So that's it for the market phase. If we see any events, we can they'll finish putting cards down on the market, but then we'll resolve them in order and just read what the card says. It'll tell you what to do. So we're in the bull phase now. So this is a good time to talk about what the bull does. Everybody can play at the same time. To just keep things moving, you can play simultaneously. But if there's any conflict, like let's say I wanted to implement a strategy before some other organization, if I have the bull, I can choose to go first or defer to go last, and then we'll go in clockwise order from there. So if we were competing for a strategy and there was only one available capacity circle left, whoever has the bull can become really important. You can also defer to go last, so like if you want to see what somebody else does first, that can be relevant. But what happens in the bull phase is we just pass the bull one organization clockwise, so yellow would have the bull next, and we go into another round. So it can be kind of helpful to see just at least the start of the second round. I'm going to go through this real quickly. We're in the support phase. So what happens, I'm just going to play, I'm blue, so I want to play, I can only support something that I've implemented. I only have one choice right now. I'm going to support cultural immersion. Yellow here needs to support advertise new program, and purple needs to support make change easy. So let's just keep moving. So once we've supported, we get whatever benefits are on that strategy. So I'll just show you mine real quick. I've got cultural immersion here, and I'm going to get 5,000 in the profit phase, 1 gain, 1 play, no repositions, and a $10,000 implementation discount. So what that means is, instead of, if I was to buy another level 1, I could buy it for free because it would cost $10,000. But let's say I got the blocks in the right place and I'm trying to, say, go for something more like this, normalized conflict, which is cost $30,000 instead. It would only cost me $20,000 after that. So that's it for the support phase. We get profits. Everybody will get $5,000 in profits. In the gain awareness phase, everybody out there has 1 gain. If any of us had gone for environment, we would have got more gains. So this card, for example, would allow 2 gains on this turn. Like last turn we got 3, but everybody just gets 1 this time. I'm going to go for a green. Yellow maybe wants an innovation block, and let's say they want management. They'll take one of those. So that's it for the gain awareness phase. We move on to the play awareness phase. Everybody can play 1. I'm going to play environment to the strengths box. Let's have yellow over here play innovation to weaknesses because they're going after, say, make change easy as well. And let's have purple play 1 yellow block in strengths because they're going after relearn how to learn, which requires 2 innovation blocks in strengths. And if you remember, the special ability that they got was with repositioning, so they'll be able to move that 1 from weaknesses over yet this turn. All right, so that's it for the play awareness phase. We're in the reposition. So I've got no repositions on the strategy I'm supporting, and neither does yellow. So it's just purple that can do this. They can reposition up to 2. They're only going to do 1 for this time, but they're going to move yellow block to strength so that they have 2 there, and now they meet the implementation requirements for relearn how to learn. All right, so then we can move to the implementation phase. So this is where things get kind of interesting. I'm blue. I'm on a $10,000 implementation discount with cultural immersion, which means strategies cost $10,000 less when I implement them, where the other organizations don't have that benefit right now because they're not supporting a strategy that would do that for them. So I want to implement aligned strengths and duties. I've got a green environment awareness block in my strengths box. So I can take a new implementation marker and place it on that one as well. So next turn I can choose between these 2 strategies, which one I want to support. Let's have yellow implement make change easy, so you can double up on strategies as long as there's available capacity circles. They will pay $10,000, and they've got the required awareness, and then they can implement that one as well. And then let's have purple implement relearn how to learn. So they're going to take that off the market, place it here with the new implementation marker, and it will cost them 20 to do so. We move on to the market phase. We discard the oldest strategy on the market. So if there were still 5 strategies here on the market, we discard 2 instead of just 1. But if anybody buys anything off of here, or there's just not 5 strategies on the market, just get rid of 1. Slide everything down, and we're going to see some new strategies. All right, so that's it for the market phase. We go to the bull phase, which passes on to purple, and that is 2 full rounds of play, and it goes from there. That should be enough to get you started, so have a good time playing, and I hope you enjoy it. Thank you.